Arsenal 2, Manchester United 3. Stephen Howson, back-to-back wins for Michael Carrick. It only took him 8 days. Another fantastic win against the best team in England, supposedly, at least, other than Manchester United, of course. What do you make of that?
Comment below if you think I'm wearing pants or not, and maybe I'll reveal my at the end. That's what I think of that.
How does this happen?
Well, I just didn't put the pants back on after.
No, I don't mean that. I mean the game, the results, momentum, confidence, all these words that you sort of, who knows what they mean, how to bring them onto your side, how to use them to influence things. But whatever it is, Michael Carrick has come in, United look many times better than we've done in a long time, and we're winning games that we don't win. What's going on?
It took us a yeehaw, to get back-to-back wins under Amorim in the league, which sounds like a made-up stat, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
And we had, the entirety of this season, 2 clean sheets. In 2 games, Michael Carrick went back-to-back games, yeah, no problem, and 50% clean sheets. Which, if you extrapolate his record to his other interim, he's on that, like an 80% win rate now?
Yeah, something like that.
And look at who he's played.
It has been an absolute... So it was Villarreal managed by Emery. It was Chelsea, Arsenal twice, and Man City. I mean, it's about as difficult as it gets, really, isn't it?
Yeah. And United can get results, but United don't typically play well. And I think what confused us, and in a good way, not in a bad way, we were confused at what has he done in 3 days of training to get that performance out of City, because City was really drilled. It was really, really drilled. I didn't think it was quite as drilled today. I thought it was a strange game. It was like Arteta saw what happened against City and tried to not see those same sorts of things happen. So what I was seeing in the game was a lot of Arsenal have it and we're going to sink off, but Arsenal was petrified, and rightly so, of our counter-attack. So we didn't really see massive Manchester United counter-attacks. What we saw was a lot slower build-up, and then United would occupy Arsenal's half. Not very often, obviously, because Arsenal dominated the ball. But when we got the ball, it wasn't bang into a channel, use the pace, get after it. We worked it into their third, and then we occupied their half. It was almost like allowing each team to go a little bit. It was a really weird game. I didn't think it was like quite as... I mean, it was clearly sensational. And I think if you break down the goals, the difference in the goals, their first one was so scrappy. And honestly, I don't understand how it's not a foul on Martinez. Timber initiates the contact and he pushes him back with 2 arms. That is a foul, right? That is a foul by the book, right? And even if someone's holding, the person who initiates it or gains the advantage is who the foul goes against. Timber got the advantage because he's off balance. If you look at when that goal goes in, Martinez doesn't even attempt anything because he's off balance. He's trying to regain his balance. Therefore, it's a foul. So for me, that shouldn't have stood. So they've got a scrappy first goal, and then they've got the corner for the second goal, set piece FC, Stoke imitation. And then you look at Manchester United's goal. The first goal comes from Mbeumo pressing. This is why we press. Force the error out of a so-called world-class centre-half. So here for that. The second goal, we've got some brilliant little one-touch play. And then that was the last time I've seen pants this afternoon once Dorgu's rattled that off the backside of the bar. Jesus, tiddy fucking Christ. What a goal that is, by the way. I've been shouted at by my wife 15 times for just shouting at the TV today. Like, absolutely been lit up. And it didn't stop because Cunha watched that goal and went, I'm a bit of that. We have the same sort of interplay. This time, I think it was with Bruno for Dorgu, and then I think it was Mainu for Cunha's. Nice little bit of bump, nice little pop. Like those, we must have just done rondos for 2 weeks, honestly, because the touch, the speed, the confidence. I mean, the way we popped Manchester City last week, a bit of we just did it twice again tonight against Arsenal, and it's resulted in 2 goals. And the finish from Cunha. And not just the finish, not just the manner, not just the fact that we kept going. I mean, he makes a sub, he takes off a hybrid defender winger for a striker. Like, at no point is he thinking, we're good, this is enough, let's consolidate. No, he's like, we're having it, we're going, we've got to keep pushing. And And that's where that mentality came from. And I think Michael Carrick's bravery with his substitutions and what he wanted to see, it bled into the players. Because you concede an equaliser to top of the league in the 84th minute. I think a lot of teams go, okay, we don't concede again. And we didn't do that. We went, go fucking win the game, lads. And we went and won the game. And I tell you what, this is why we watch football, for it being that exciting. For those moments where you do the things that you're not supposed to do. That's why we watch sport. That's what Manchester United are about. And that's why Michael Carrick needs to sign a 10-year contract in the morning.
There's so many brilliant things to sort of go through. I do think it's important because I was trying to think before, and I mentioned it to you then, about what is momentum, what is confidence, what, all these intangibles. But setting out to win the game and not to not lose the game from the start. I mean, you could argue if you wanted to, like you said, you've got a left back at left wing, no strikers on the pitch. If you wanted to, you could say, well, he's been a bit defensive there. But you could tell from the intent of the players and the intent of the subs and the manager that it wasn't a sit back and try and get a scrappy draw. It was, right, this game's up in the balance here. We aren't being blown away. They aren't a notch above us. And sometimes you have to get into a game before you realise, actually, they're not doing many of the things that we worried they would do. And United were able to, sort of put themselves into the game and show their confidence and quality.
Like,
I think first 20 minutes goal. Potentially, yeah. And I do, but I think that's when they sort of realise, actually, they're not that good. And, for the sort of 15 minutes from their first goal to the end of the first half, I thought was maybe our best patch of the game for me. I thought we were really good and had the ball. And like you said, possession-wise, 43 to 57, obviously they've got more, but that's not a blowout. That's not we're camping on our box trying to get, 2 passes and a shot at the other end. That was an even game where United took better quality chances and did what they needed. In terms of Michael Carrick, then, you mentioned there, 10-year contract, give him what he wants. And obviously, 12. Or 12, whatever it is. Maybe just lifetime. Like when you get a peerage in the House of Lords or whatever, just until you don't want to be manager, you're the manager. Is it a case that, obviously we're not going to be giving him any contracts this week, but as far as you're concerned, is this a trial for him at Manchester United? Because he didn't seem to think it was when he took it. The board were very clear that it wouldn't be that. Is this... is it possible even that he is the United manager next season?
I can't see it being anyone else right now. I mean, I could be wrong, and I'm ready to be hurt again. But he's exciting, and he's playing how I want to see Manchester United play. It was the same thing with Ole in his interim reign. Yes, it went tits up when it went tits up for Ole, but do you know what? That interim period, and then when he came second and third, and he's hitting semi-finals and finals and this, that, and the other, it wasn't far away. Maybe if we'd have not imposed Sancho, Ronaldo and Varane on him, maybe if we'd have listened to him about not maybe buying Van der Beek and some players he didn't really fucking want, maybe if we'd have actually sat down with him and had a football board like we've got now that is clearly good at recruitment, because look who scored today. Three signings that all arrived in 2025. There you go. So I do trust Ineos's signings. I mean, I saw it was on TalkSport, so it might as well have been scrawled on the wall in shit, but it said that United are looking at signing 2 of Wharton, Anderson and Baleba. Mate, if we did that this summer, do you honestly think Michael Carrick couldn't do this? Now, there's 15 more tests in front of him.
Yeah.
I don't think he needs to pass all 15. But like a 70%, 75% pass rate might do enough. Because the risk is you bring someone else in and it's Ruben Amorim again. Or Ralph Ragnick again. Or Ten Hag again. Or Moyes again. There's a risk in keeping him. There's a risk in appointing somebody else. But if it's working, why not keep it working? Why not buy him the things that would allow it to continue to work? And why can't it be him? So we've ticked a couple boxes here. In 5 games across the entire interim period, we're at an 80% win rate. It's pretty good, right? Hasn't lost. He's drawn 1 and won 4. It's not bad, that, I would say. What do we want to see him do next? Beat a mid-table team where you probably expect that a tricky team, Fulham. That'll do, right? Fulham would do that. And then who's a team that's going to completely sit off against us? Don't we have Forest coming up soon? Someone like that. If he passes both of those two, yeah, maybe. If he passes both away as well, tough that.
Yeah.
If he passes both of those two tests, what else do you want to see him do?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I completely agree. So then let me just give you the next cluster of games between today and playing Aston Villa on the 14th of March. It's Fulham at home, Tottenham at home, West Ham away, Everton away, Palace at home, Newcastle away. There's some real not easy games in there, but also there's the exact sort of game that we've struggled in so much over the last 10 years, which is you're expected to win, but as you said, it's a tricky opposition. This is probably where he's really going to sort of, can a Michael Carrick team, a Michael Carrick attack break down defences, break down teams that are coming out and playing like their lives depend on it against Manchester United. The Fulham game next week, a lot of people were talking about this almost before the Arsenal game because Arsenal's a bit of a free hit in a way. Obviously it's not, and especially if you win, it don't feel like a free hit right now sitting here. But how big is the Fulham game, do you think, in terms of what we can see from a Michael Carrick team?
Well, what people will say is you're just a counter-attacking team. If you and to be fair, Ruben Amorim had a much better points tally with less possession than he had with more possession. So that can get attributed more to the players than the manager, can't it? That this team, let alone this manager, is that can look a little bit fluky. If you can go to Fulham, have 58% possession and win with a clean sheet, well, that's 3 wins on the bounce, 2 clean sheets in 3, and you've won with more possession for which is against the grain. Now you're starting to stack up reasons why you need to keep him. And if the players are liking him, if the board like him, if everyone's we've got recruitment all aligned, you might be having conversations with players who are like, well, I'm not going to sign for you until I know who the manager is. Who's the manager going to be? And they're like, we don't really know. And they're like, well, I don't fucking know then, do I? That's going to be a conversation that comes soon.
Yeah,
I think you've got to go and make a decision. I think you could probably rule him out in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can definitely decide he is the man in the next couple of months. But then again, like the problem I've got with this is it is reactive. Yeah. It is reactive. It's not a good plan to be like, well, let's just wait and see. That's not a good plan.
No, it's not. And I mean, neither is, giving him a contract after 2 games or 5 games or even 15 games. Because realistically, if he wasn't the man before, you knew it 100%, no matter what he does, he still shouldn't be the man at the end of it. But we can't help, like you said, this is what football and sport is. There are so many things going on, bubbling under the surface that you can't really quantify. You can't really look at on a FB ref spreadsheet or a, whatever data tactics you want to look at. You can't always quantify everything. Sometimes it is just what you see in front of you and how you feel seeing it. And at the moment, he's got 10 out of 10 marks for that, hasn't he, Michael Carrick? Just on some other players then, I think certain players today I thought Dalot was excellent today. I know people don't like to talk about. I thought the way he closed down his man, the way he defended, the sprinting he did, the hard work that he put in. It's rare that we sit here and I ask you how well you thought Dalot played. But in particular, did you think he played well? Or am I just looking for positives?
No, I completely agree. I've given Dalot pelters lately because I think he's had some real dumb games this season. But yeah, I thought today when I put Mazraoui in my predicted 11. Obviously, went with the exact same 11, but I put Mazraoui in because I was like, I just think Mazraoui's just much more dependable, much more intelligent player, and with Arsenal's set piece threat, I can just see Dalot giving away stupid free kicks that cost us, and he didn't. He had a real good game. Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning when if you are critical of someone that you give them some flowers when they've deserved it. And I don't know if there was a bad player in the United shirt today, to be honest.
There's a couple. I think people was a bit of criticism for Bruno at times, a couple of poor passes, but even he pops up and does so many difficult things throughout a game where you almost overlook the good stuff he does. Yeah, second half in particular, I completely agree. Another player as well that's worth mentioning, we mention him a lot, but Senna Lomans, who is just like, obviously they did score from a set piece, and if you want to, just say that any time the ball comes in the 6-yard box, the keeper has to get there. But that's not really the case with the way Arsenal do set pieces in modern team. There's 16 men in the 6-yard box. As a goalkeeper, having your hands doesn't really help you at all when there's that. Like, how we've gone from a keeper that before every single game you go, what's Onana or Bayindir going to do today, to someone like Lomans where you just expect him to have a very good game. He's 23 years old. In the biggest games, he keeps turning up, doesn't he?
Yeah, maybe he can marshal his line a touch better for the first. Like I said, I thought it was a foul for the first. I'm not having that. That's not a foul. The way he held on to him. You can argue he possibly could have come out a little bit. Obviously, Martinez is right in front of him, so he's not going to. But maybe that was the issue. Maybe he needs to be a bit more forceful and get people out of his 6-yard box and just not allow anyone in there, our side or theirs. And then, the way Arsenal take set plays, I can't believe they're by the book. It's just 15 fouls a second. It's mental. I don't understand how they're not just as soon as the corner comes in, whistle, free kick, let's go. Because you could easily, if you was looking for something, you could absolutely go, there's a foul, there's a foul, there's a foul, that's a foul, this is a foul. You can't run into people. That's a foul. And that's all they do. Blocking is blocking is standing your ground, but running into people is a fucking foul. And that's all they do. But it works for them. Because it's allowed to work. I can smell a rule change or an interpretation of a rule changing with this because it's ugly.
Yeah, I agree. I was watching it. You think, like you said, the amount of people that are being held, the amount of people that are being ran into. There was one in the first half where they put a cross in and Trossard just flings himself at Casemiro's back and knocks him out the way of the ball, and Gabriel misses the header behind him. But he just dived into Casemiro. Occasionally, I'm not saying because it's so successful you have to, get rid of it, but I do think there needs to be something where you look at impeding the goalkeeper, running into people, as you said, holding constantly and jumping up with... the amount of times Gabriel's jumping on Mbeumo with 2 hands on his shoulders. You think that always was a foul. You can't jump up with your hands on the shoulders. And I wonder if that's going to happen. Just zoom out a little.
I would be doing myself.
Go on.
If I was coaching a Premier League team, I would have my players. We won a penalty with this about 4 years ago. One of my defenders grabbed an attacker's arm and hit himself in the face with the attacker's arm and threw himself on the floor, and we got a penalty, an offensive corner for us. But do you know what I would do if I was coaching a Premier League team? I would Kyle Walker it. Anytime you feel anyone touch you, just go down.
Yeah.
Go down. Because 2-3 people start going down, you will get fouls. And it won't. That's ugly as well, but that's because people aren't enforcing the rules the correct way in the first place. Yeah,
I completely agree. Just zooming out then, how do you think it feels to be a United player right now? After the 12 months that we've had, the 14 months we've had, where it's been, across that period, the worst sort of 14 months of any manager in our lifetime and one of the worst ever, to these 2 games, the biggest 2 teams or the best 2 teams in the league right now, what is it like to be a Man United player? What do you think it's like in the dressing room?
I hope the roof came off it.
Yeah,
I hope they just sat there on the phones looking at replays of them goals. Because they were outrageous goals. The pair of them were unbelievable goals. I hope they just looked at replays of the goals and just be like, I did that. And I hope that they must have bounced into training on Monday after the City game. I hope the same happens again tomorrow. I hope they just have a fucking great week at training. Whatever they're doing, keep on doing it. And let's see. I'm expecting a different 11. I think. Yeah. I think that would be fair. I think Sesko and Cunha probably start. If not both of them, at least one of them. I don't know who misses out. That's a big decision. Probably Ahmad, just because of the profile of players a little bit less.
Dorgu might have a hamstring injury as well.
Maybe. I reckon he was playing the game a little bit.
Hope so.
I hope so too, because what a nightmare that would be with the form he's in. Because he's an absolute asset, isn't he? Doggy best.
Yeah, brilliant.
I think he changes the 11. I don't think he changes the shape. And I would love to see United go and get nearly 60% possession and a 2 or 3-0 win. Real comfortable, real controlling, real deadly, sort of 20-22 shots, sort of fucking hell, that was good. Totally blow someone away. And I think the fucking giddy bus is in full swing by then.
Unbelievable. Right, cheers, Steve. Thank you, as always. Thank you for joining us at home as well. Hit subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Check out the merch. The link is in the description as well. Arsenal 2, Manchester United 3, 2 for 2 for Michael Carrick. We'll see you in a bit.